Real talk, raw truth, raging hearts. Welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hi, welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. I'm
And I'm
Heather.
Ashley.
How was your week?
There's been a few ups and downs, but overall, I'm doing good. My magnesium is working as long as I remember to take it. So, doing good. How's your week been?
My week also had some ups and downs. For overall, it's been pretty good too. Today was a little bit of a wiener with the teenager. Like he pulled a boner, but whatever. It wasn't life threatening, and it wasn't police involving. So it was just a boner. My therapist is back, so I'm super excited about that. I missed her. And let's see. I have set some really strong boundaries with people I've talked to, gentleman wise, romance wise. The ex that's wanting to get back together has been like just breadcrumbing, hey, use. And I understand like the idea behind it, like to let me know you're still on my mind, but hey, you followed by a day or two or three of silence is no, that doesn't work. So I had to be like, as much as I desperately need the communication because that's my style, I would prefer no communication to breadcrumbing. That confuses me. And so got that across, and then had some other breaches of boundary with a new connection that was like trying to make our initial meet, but going about it in all the wrong ways. Just this week alone, I've had some personal experiences that just are going to be examples for today's podcast. Following last week's episode about avoidant attachment. Sorry, my brain just stalled for a minute. On avoidant attachment, this week we're going to be talking about secure attachment, which is where I'm at now. Personally, I've been through all the stages.
Yeah.
And I still, like I said last week, I still dibble dabble in avoidant and anxious from time to time. But I think the big thing for tonight, like not just to show people what secure attachment is, but also to help people understand that just because you have secure attachment doesn't mean that you're not human, that you won't have human moments like every other person on the planet. It's just how you come at those problems when they arise that changes. So what secure attachment means, that you have a balance of closeness and independence. You have self-trust and trust in others, which I honestly never thought I would ever have, but it's kind of weird how it's just kind of slowly building boundaries and healthy routines and removing toxic people and surrounding myself with healthy people. Like I've slowly built this trust system in myself that has slowly opened up to allow for trust in others, which is nice. Emotional regulation and resilience. But like I said, the biggest thing is secure does not mean perfect. That's where people get confused. It means resilient. You can wobble and you can still bounce back. When I was putting together this outline, the imagery that came to my head was those punching clowns. How you punch them and they go almost all the way to the floor and come back up. But sometimes you punch them a little too hard and they go down and they come up and they knock your own ass back. And you're just like, whoa, hey, that was a lot. I feel like secure attachment is the same thing. Like, we're still people. We still have moments where we lose our shit, where we have to step aside and reflect and come back. And like, the biggest thing that I think that secure attachment, besides the mindset shift, is different from the other three attachment styles, is the fact that when you do lose your shit, it's not a cycle of self-hatred, shaming, whatever. It's not self-doubting. It's not all that. It's fuck, I fucked up. Okay, well, I gotta own my shit now. And when you do, sometimes owning your shit means that person is never going to forgive you and the relationship is over, and you go, okay, well, that's a lesson for me, that, like, to help me figure out how not to react like that in situations of those kind, high stress, whatever the situation may have been, and take it as a learning lesson instead of, why did I lose that person? It's more like, okay, well, I did love that person. I still love that person, but it is their choice not to forgive me because of my overreaction. And so I'm going to take it as a lesson in life and move on.
I wish a lot more like people could understand it, because it's not like, if the person doesn't forgive you, it's not that they're attacking you. It's not that they want something bad for you. They could want the absolute best for you. But like you said, when you push some people or some situations too far, it's not a guarantee people are just going to be like, oh, okay, like, not a problem. Like, just come back in my life. Some people can't. And it would be a dishonesty, honestly, to you for them to allow you back in their life.
Yeah, they would be self-betraying. And the whole point of secure attachment is that you don't betray yourself. At the core of everything, regardless of who you lose or don't lose in life, you don't lose yourself. And with all of the other attachment styles, you don't really have that core sense of self. That's the problem. That's the missing piece, is that you still have to build that. And that's not to say that you're bad or you're wrong or you're broken. That's just how you formed your attachment style. And that's not to say you can't end up in a secure attachment style. Look at me. Like I said, I've had all four of them. Predominantly, most of my life, disorganized, which is the worst of them.
Yeah.
And yet still I managed to reach this point through all of that. So, I mean, like, it's not like, oh, I have this attachment style, so I'm broken and I can never have, no. And even if you never get out of that attachment style, there are other people with your attachment style that can still love you to the best of their ability, just like you're loving them to the best of your ability. It doesn't make it less loving. It just means that you guys love differently than somebody in a secure attachment style. If I have a partner and they're traveling, I am not imagining that they're leaving me for somebody else or doing things, as long as what I need is being met, like the communication and stuff. That's important for me. My partner can travel, they can be long distance, they can do all that. That's fine, as long as the connection that we need is being maintained.
Yeah, and I think no matter what relationship it is, like, communication is a big part of it, especially with attachment styles. Like we discussed about last week, I'm a very avoidant or anxious attachment lifestyle with most people, but communication can help with that so much. And with secure attachment styles, like, that just helps bolster the relationship. It helps make sure that everything's good.
Well, and like, there are times where people with anxious or avoidant attachment styles are practicing secure attachment styles and they don't even realize it. It's like, for example, I will use you and I as an example. When you had to go away from the podcast for a little bit, and that conversation where I needed to have that conversation with you about what I was going to do in the meantime, and making sure that you understood it wasn't because I didn't love you, it was the opposite. Like, because I want what we have to continue to grow, but I knew you needed that time. at that time, I still had very anxious attachment with you because, like, my past history with friendships was not that great. And oftentimes those were triggers to end a relationship. Like, oh, you don't want me in your life and everything. And then when we talked, like, you had a lot of the same fears. You were like, I didn't really know how to approach this because I
Yeah.
didn't. And then when we talked, we were just like,
Mm.
oh, we're on the same page.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
And then I think for me, at least, that was when it transitioned for me for our friendship. I no longer had an anxious attachment style with you, and now we go sometimes days and days without talking, and then when I do, it's just like, oh, it was yesterday. You're like, no, it was like 5 days ago, and I'm like,
Yeah. We're
I,
good.
I still felt you here, like you were here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you are one of the few friends that I know that you're never gonna take it personally when I need to, like, go into myself or, like, not talk for a few days. Like, I still love you no matter what, and I know you know that, whereas a lot of people, I'm like, fuck, they're gonna think that I don't want anything to do with them because my social battery is a hell of a lot smaller than a lot of people's, and I don't want to be aggressive or start to snap at people that frankly don't deserve it. They just happen to be in the vicinity unless I get my time.
Hey, and I'm the same way because I'm an introvert. Like, I need space from people, and if you're my person, that's less so. Like, having a partner, I need less space from them. But even a partner, I need space from. It's like, okay, yeah, I love you. We just spent the last 3 days together, and they're like, yeah, right. It's great, and I'm like, yeah, it's
Can
great.
you
Can
have
you
a
go to
coffee?
work?
Can you something? Yeah.
And they're just like offended, but it's not because I don't love them. It's because I'm an introvert and my battery is so overwhelmed right now. I want to continue giving you that same energy that I've been giving you for the last 3 days. So for the next 4 hours, leave
Yeah,
me alone.
exactly. And honestly, that is a big sign of a stable attachment. You guys have your own hobbies. You do get space away from each other, and it's not giving you anxiety when you don't have eyes on them.
No, I have anxiety when I don't have regular communication because I
Yeah.
have BPD and I
Yeah,
can't
that's
help that.
different.
And the BPD doesn't change my attachment style, but it does throw a monkey wrench in it. If I am not getting my needs met. Which I feel like it doesn't matter what attachment style you are. It's more harmful when you're in one of the other three because it can derail you into a dangerous place mentally a lot easier. But realistically, anybody going through that kind of conflict or strife is going to have
Yeah.
emotional
Like,
roller
I
coasters.
definitely feel like part of my avoidance is part of BPD because the safest place somebody with BPD that hasn't gone through enough therapy or just doesn't want to fucking deal with people is in a relationship because then it's unknowns that are happening. It's another person you're having to be vulnerable with and trust emotions with. And so it is frankly easier to just be like, you know what I don't want to do? Talk about my feelings. Or talk. Don't want to talk. I'll see you next Tuesday. Like, and it's a way to protect ourselves. If I'm not around anybody, nobody can fuck with me. As you heal and as things start to get better, I can actually properly communicate my feelings without, like, feeling like I'm a weak person, or like I can hear constructive criticism without thinking you hate me. Like, stuff like that.
Those are big ones, actually, really big ones. Um, I think that there is a lot of different aspects to all of the attachment styles that run in common. And the difference is the internal voice. Like I said, it's the mind shift. For me, in a secure attachment style, I view everybody first through the lens of energy. Like, how does your energy hit me? But then, taking the intuitive part out of it, I look at everybody. First, I'm looking at your behaviors. Then I'm listening to your words. Do they align first? And if they don't, then I'm looking for the why. Like I'm like, do I see any obvious signs of like trauma or mental illness? And then if I do, I immediately lean into that compassion because I can understand. Been there, done that, had my own struggles. And so even if I am distancing myself from the person and putting space and trying to remove myself, I'm still leaning into the compassion of understanding that they too are human and have their issues, but it's not my issues to pick up, so I'm going to remove myself.
Yeah, I will like definitely say that for therapy and my healing, like I am more compassionate in some ways than I have ever been in my life. Like things emotionally affect me more than they ever have in my life in a good way. But also at the same way, I am able to remove myself and cut people off faster and probably colder than I ever have in my life now, because now it's not like I'm doing it to hurt somebody or whatever. It is, no, these are my boundaries and I have respect for myself. So nobody gets to mess with that.
Yeah, and the more you move into secure attachment, you don't even defend it anymore. You're like, whatever, think what you want, because these are my boundaries, this is my self-respect, and I don't owe you an explanation.
Because I said no. That's like my favorite sentence ever.
Yeah.
Or no is a complete sentence.
Yeah, but it's hard to put into practice.
It is very hard. Like, and I will say for me, like 99% of people, I have no problem being like, these are my boundaries and you will respect them. But that 1%, it is still a struggle sometimes. Like, and I've been practicing boundaries like a motherfucker for going on over a decade now. Like, and it's still hard with me for some people. I'm like, I've called you and been like, coach me through why we got boundaries again. Am I sure I need them?
But we
and
do.
The answer will always be yes.
Well, and that's part of, okay, that's another thing that I notice that happens more often in secure attachment than any other attachment style, is that you recognize that the temporary discomfort that you are suffering right now, implementing the boundaries or like restricting yourself financially for a goal or whatever, you know that you're doing it for the greater good, because at the end it's going to bring you a greater benefit. So it's easier to get through. Whereas the other attachment styles, your main mentality, and I'm not saying this as a negative, I'm saying this as like a fact. For the most part, the other three attachment styles come from a victim state of mind.
Oh yeah, like
Whether they still call themselves that or not, the mentality is still very in the victim.
I could definitely at least see that, because it's like, oh no, I've been hurt so much, so I don't go around. Oh no, I'm afraid like this is gonna happen. Like, I do definitely see that. Like, I would agree for the most part, it is definitely like that. Like, I think for me personally, like with my anxious and avoidant, it has gone past like, oh, people have done this to me, so I act like this. And then now it's, I don't fucking like people. It's not like because anybody like did anything. I just genuinely don't like most people. And if I'm going to take the time to figure out if I even like you, you have to, like, something about you has to be like, oh, like I like this person. Oh, like I have easy conversation. Like they're funny. Like something about them has to make me be like, okay, let's just see. It's But mostly I don't like people, man. I'm starting to like them more than I used to.
Well, boundaries help with that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I like people more now than I used to with the boundaries, but I like to be around people less.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So before I was around whoever wanted me to be around, toxic people, family that I don't talk to now, all of that, it was just like, oh, we need you here, we need you this, we need that. And here I am, Johnny on the spot, Johnny on the spot, Johnny on the spot. And I don't do that anymore. Like, it's like, if I don't enjoy your presence, I'm not going to spend any time in your company. But the few people that I do enjoy your presence, I will enjoy the time in your company. And those people understand I don't have unlimited social battery, so they don't expect unlimited social battery.
Exactly. Like we were saying earlier, I don't have a very big one, and you're one of my people that I might not reply all day, like just like I wasn't replying to anybody else all day, but you're not gonna get offended, and then I'll get a hold of you in a day or two and be like, hello, I'm all charged up again, I'm good. Like, and
I'm the same
and
way.
honestly, like, that's one of the things, like, I remember when we very first, like, started really being friends, you're like, I'm so sorry I didn't text you, right, or I didn't, like, call you and blah, 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 and I'm like, girl, we're friends. You had shit to do. You got a high-strung kid that's a pain in the ass. You got a life. You're dealing with a lot. Like, you don't need to panic, and you're just like, usually people get pissed when I don't, like, call and snap to. I'm like, do they not have a fucking life? Like, is that the problem? Like, because that's not healthy.
Yeah, but everybody in my life was like that. Like, I would literally have people block and unfriend me if I didn't answer them in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, I had so much anxiety. That's why I said those other 3 attachments are victim mindset, because like when those kind of things happen to you, in that, when I would, at least for me, when I was in those attachment styles, all of them, my first thought is, why does all this always happen to me? Or why do these kind of people always come into my life? Or why do I always attract? Like, the answer was always, why me? Whereas in secure attachment, I don't find myself asking the why me. I find myself asking, why is this happening? Like, what am I supposed to be gathering from this? What information is it that I'm supposed to be gathering from this interaction? Let me in on the secret, because I want to move past it. I want to get the lesson the first time and be done.
Exactly. No repeats, please.
And in the other 3 attachments, you don't know to stop asking why me. You don't know to ask what's the lesson. Just give me the fucking lesson.
And I will say, like, one of the biggest dangers of the other 3 attachment styles, I will say, not just from my own experience, but also witnessing other people, is when you're in that why me mentality, that victim mentality, you tend to take people back that do not deserve a second chance or another chance to fuck with your energy, to bring you out of peace, to put you right back into that spiral. Because you tend to think, well, if I just change this, if I do that, then I'll be good enough. Then it won't happen to me again. I'll finally have it, what I want. And you're just putting yourself right back into the cycle.
Yeah. I've wrote down for each section that I worked on, I wrote down some quotes of like examples, like, secure Heather doesn't chase answers that aren't coming. If you don't know how to show up for me, I'll show up for myself. Like, and I do. Secure Heather doesn't keep reopening the wound. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to remove the distraction and protect your peace. It's like removing him off my social medias when he keeps popping up. It's like, it's not that I don't have closure. I have closure on the relationship, but closure doesn't mean the feelings disappear. It doesn't mean that the hurt isn't still there. Like, I don't know why people think that secure attachment means that all of a sudden, poof, like if you break up with somebody, your heart doesn't hurt. It's just over. No, it's just you move through it easier, not because it doesn't hurt you, but because you know that at the end of the day, you can't force somebody to stay with you.
Exactly. And it's not, it hurts, yes, of course, but it's not, oh my God, it's the end of the world. What did I do wrong feeling?
No, because you showed up. You evaluate what's happening, and you realistically, if you see you had issues, you admit that. But like in the grand scheme of things, you look at it and you're like, no, I just showed up as my authentic self, and they bailed. Okay, well, I guess you're not my person then, because like if you can't see all the amazingness that I have to offer as my authentic self, then you're just not my person. It doesn't mean that you're a terrible person or a bad person. It just means that you're not my person. And that's sad, and that hurts my heart because I'm a person that, here's the thing, I've always been told my whole life that I'm fucked up because I fall in love super fast. Like by date 2, I can tell you if I'm in love with somebody.
I know.
And that's a terrible thing for most people. Yeah. And I don't feel like it's terrible. It's not my fault that I can intuitively sense if you're meant to be with me or not. And that I will then immediately give you my heart because I listen to my heart and my
honestly,
intuition.
up until I met you, people that said that, I was like, what fucking Delulu lemonade did they serve you? Like, the fuck? But knowing you, you do genuinely feel an intuition towards people. You genuinely know, like, if you want to get to know them deeper, if there's even a chance, like, very, very quickly. So now I do feel bad for the other people that I was like, you're fucking Delulu, because maybe I just didn't know them well enough to know if they had that kind of intuition or not.
Well, okay, so let's be real. For a lot of years, because of my disorganized, chaotic attachment style, it was Delulu. It was the attachment style. It wasn't.
Yep.
I mean, I genuinely could have loved the person, but I wouldn't have known the difference.
Yeah.
All I would have known is that the feeling was the same. It was intense and almost borderline obsessive. And the difference is now, like having felt the difference for a change, is that I recognize that the one was like, I need this almost like the air that I breathe. And in secure attachment, it's like, I want you as much as the air that I breathe. But if you don't want me, it's only going to hurt, not destroy me.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. Like, as the years have gone on, like, I remember breakups used to feel like my heart was literally being ripped out of my chest, and like it would be the end of my world. Like the emotions would overtake me. I did not have good control of them at all. Whereas this point, but as time has gone on and I've gotten like to this point in my healing, like I'm not, again, just like you said, it's not like it doesn't hurt, but it's not an overwhelming thing. I do not tie my self-worth to how well my romantic relationships worked out, which I used to do a lot. Like, how kind of fucked up am I that I can't just, like, make a relationship work, that I can't, like, be a cohesive person and just get along for the sake of being in what everybody else tells me is a great relationship. And it took a lot, I feel, of being very honest with myself about things. Like, I couldn't help being avoidant in relationships if I purposely went after relationships that I knew were gonna fuck me up in multiple different ways. Because I needed, at the lowest part of my mental health, I needed things to be dysfunctional to feel like they were functional. Because that's all I was used to.
Disorganized.
Yeah, I was a self-fulfilling prophecy because of my poor mental health and attachment styles that I outright refused to try and understand at that point.
Yeah, and that's real. Like, that's why I say I have experienced that. That was my default attachment style for most of my life, is if it's not chaotic, I don't. And it's actually, honestly, it's kind of funny that I use that specific word, because lately a lot of people have been using the word chaos to describe me. And I was starting to feel a little hurt by it, actually.
Oh, honey, that's people that don't know
I
you
was like,
very
why?
well. You are not chaotic. You used to be. You fucking tornado.
No,
But
no. I love you, Busty, but I am very much chaos, and I'll
it's
explain.
not negative chaos. Mm.
No, it's not. It's not a negative. But that's what I didn't see for. And then, like I said, this last couple weeks has been like the most shift that I have had. It's this eclipse is like out with the old bitch, out with the old. Everything has been shifting. Today specifically, this paradigm shifted for me for chaos, because somebody that I like, that I am talking to now, that is consistent, that's putting the effort in, not like a lot of people, called me chaos. And I was like, I had to sit with that for a minute. And I was like, but I know he's not calling me like a chaotic mess. I know he's flirting with me. So I had to sit with Rowan, and I'm like telling him my feelings, and he's like, I call you chaos all the time. You are chaos. You're the best kind of chaos. What do you mean? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you are all over the place. There is no like one thing that you're just like, here, this is Heather's box. He's like, and every time somebody thinks they have you in a pigeonhole, you show them how much wrong they are. Not in a bad way, in the best ways. It's like when you're cooking. He's like, it's like how your ADHD will have you skip 3 directions, and you're like, oh my God, I ruined it. And then you tell me, and I'm like, no, we can fix it this way. And you're like, okay. And you go and do it, and it comes out the best thing possible. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is delicious. He's like, because you are the best kind of chaos.
Okay, so you're chaos, not chaotic.
And I was like,
got it.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. I actually am. And he was like, did you not realize that? I'm like, well, I tell you all the time I'm pretty chaotic. He's like, no, my dear, you are chaos incarnate. He's like, take love and chaos and swirl them together, throw them on the ground, and there you are. I'm like, oh, thanks. He's like, you're welcome. It's just what it is. Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. Like, I love differently than 99% of the people on the planet. I am polyamorous by nature, which means I hold love in a completely different way. I don't practice polyamory, as we've talked about, because there's just not a lot of competent, emotionally intelligent people that are well versed in communication and comprehension about the hard things, which is what is necessary for polyamory. But I very much still have that as who I am. Like, that's still part of who I am. So it's like I was telling Rowan today, like right now I'm single, and while I'm entertaining many different connections, in all of the previous attachment style, had I been doing that as a single woman, I would have felt like I was betraying the other connections.
Yeah.
Because I'm speaking to more than one person at a time. But the reality is I'm speaking to more than one person at a time. Ain't nobody stepped up to claim me. So I don't owe anybody but myself fidelity. And when somebody does step up to claim me, I absolutely will immediately set that boundary with anybody that was a perspective. Like, I'm sorry, that's where that option ends. Because I have enough self-respect to not leave people dangling, wondering once I've made a decision on where I'm focusing my attention.
That's the bare minimum of respect you can give a person or a potential partner, I feel. Maybe not every person deserves that respect, but if they were a potential partner, yeah, and they didn't completely fuck up,
Yeah, but until you claim
Yeah.
me, you're just a potential, which means I don't owe not talking to anybody else. And I'm going to talk to other people because you are a potential, which means you may not work out.
Exactly.
That is secure attachment. And I care for these people in different levels. It's like the ex I have feelings for because there was previous feelings. So it's a little bit different. It's starting out on a level a little bit different than where other people are starting out. But it also, because of that, I hold him to a higher standard because he already has had the opportunity to woo me. And now you're trying to win your way back in. So you got to work a little harder than the average person.
And honestly,
And, other connections, like we talked about, long distance connections, I'm not above that, but you got to put the effort in. Like,
oh yeah,
if in 8 months, a year, you haven't made any effort to make any plans.
yeah.
And I mean, hell, I'm talking to somebody right now that I completely adore. Actually, he's so cute. Oh my God. That I've only been talking to him for a couple weeks. And he's already like, I wish I could get there.
Yeah.
Like today.
And honestly, like I think a lot of especially with attachment styles, it really boils down to knowing yourself well enough, because if you've never done the work, you don't know what attachment styles are, you don't know yourself very well, you're just gonna be like, I act like a fucking psycho in relationships and have no clue why. Oh, I don't like it when anybody's around me. No clue why. Oh, if they don't answer me in 0.2 seconds, I feel guilty. Or, like, they're abandoning me again. I don't know why. Really, you gotta sit down with yourself and be like, okay, does it give me anxiety when they don't do this? Why doesn't it do this? Okay, like, for me, like we were talking about earlier, there's different reasons for why people have different attachment styles, and like, it could be a fear of abandonment. It could be you genuinely don't like motherfuckers. It could be trauma. It could be all of it. Like, you gotta really sit with yourself to realize these things.
Well, and practicing a secure attachment style doesn't
Nope.
erase fear. It just means you look at fear through a different lens. Instead of looking at fear and going, I need this is going to shut me down. You look at fear and you're like, where are you coming from? Like, why am I feeling fear? This doesn't make sense. Can you explain it to me? Like talking to yourself, not external. Like, can you explain to me where the fear is? And another thing that I notice a lot of people in secure attachment styles do is that when we have those kind of emotions like fear or anger or whatever, we're like, where do I feel that emotion in my body? Like when confrontation happens with a person, how you'll start to feel your heart race. You'll feel your hands clench, your shoulders come up, your jaw lock. Those are physical sensations that you can feel the anger in. Well, secure attachment, you go, where do I feel that in my body? And then you focus on that part of your body. Why are you all clenched up? This fear isn't yours. Let it. Release it. And you actively release emotions. It's not because we don't have the same things. It's like, I still have spirals. Like people think, oh, you're never going to spiral again. Yeah, I still have spirals. The difference is when I start to spiral, I trust myself enough to go, okay, I'm spiraling. And if I can't figure out how to stop, I reach out for help now. And I'm like, I can't stop this spiral. This is what I'm feeling. And whether that's a person or my AI, I reach out now. And then I pull in that perspective and go, okay, that's the ground that I needed to find my grounding. Here we are. Whew, okay, now let me unravel this spiral at the base. What was the core of the spiral? Like, am I feeling not worthy? Am I feeling victimhood right now? because it's not that those feelings aren't going to come back, especially when you've lived them your whole life. Like if your base is disorganized, anxious, or avoidant attachment, if that's the base that you come with, then it's going to be difficult to learn different.
Oh, yeah.
Not impossible.
Oh, yeah. And you have to be willing to, like, when I started getting help and I started talking to people, they're like, you're very avoidant. And I was like, no, I'm not. They're like, yeah? Who are you close to? And I was like, people don't need to be close to people. And they're like, see, that answer, that one right there. You might have some issues. And I was like, paid $200 to sit here for an hour. How about you tell me about those issues? Because my first lady ripped me off. But it's okay. She started my journey.
Well, you might appreciate this one because I know that for you, sometimes you need to lean into this more. Secure parenting.
Yeah.
When you have a secure attachment style, parenting, the difference is I can still hold the structure, the rules, the framework, but I don't need to be the drill sergeant. Don't need to be on top of everything. I just need to be like the overall umbrella and safety net. And so I'm a lot more flexible now. It's like the bonehead move today. If that would have happened last year or the year before, right now I would probably be hoarse from screaming. He would have his nose against a wall, probably shaking from me screaming at him for the last however long. And I would be like, you are grounded into infinitum instead of you're going to be grounded, but we'll talk about the time once I have a moment of calm because right now I'm really furious with you.
I've actually just noticed recently, I was like, I'm not yelling anymore. And I'm sitting down and having conversations and actually pointing out my viewpoints and being like, this is a big freaking issue, but I'm not like freaking out. Like, I'm starting to allow my kid to do more and like trust him to do more on his own. And part of that is attachment styles. It's also part of, when you get into your own rhythm as a parent, like being able to trust your child more, seeing that they actually do know what the fuck they're doing. Like, it helps. Like, and honestly, I think going back to our topic, like another part of attachment styles is realizing other people's stresses and things that are going on too can help you like gain their perspective. So watching like how he reacts to certain things and what stresses him out and the best way to go about certain things that are stressful but in different ways has helped us tremendously lately. Because we're not in a situation now where we're constantly on edge. So we're trying not to snap at each other and failing miserably.
It's a learning process though. Like it's never going to be perfect even once you both get to the secure attachment style where you're like healthy and feel like most secure, you're doing your therapy and everything's going well. There's going to be days where you're just like, fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to go back to your room and go, God damn it. What was that about? I got to figure it out and then go apologize.
The other day, like, I had to hold my temper with Lakota a lot, and I'm like, I'm telling you, you need to control your emotions and the way you act and the way you respect people, blah, blah. I was like, right now, I am controlling my emotions so much, and he just kind of looks at me, and as my hands were shaking, I was like, I work incredibly hard to control my emotions because my emotions are my responsibility and I don't get to take them out on other people. I was like, but this is an active physical control, and if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it is necessary. To not end up in prison.
Yep.
Jail. Or somebody else
among other things.
Like, Not controlling your emotions leads to nowhere good.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing that I want people to take away from in all the attachment styles is that shifting from one to another, no matter which one it is going to be difficult, because anytime you do something you're not familiar with and you start to build a new habit, it is uncomfortable. It feels wrong. Setting boundaries when you've never had any feels like you are cutting off everyone from your life and you are tearing out your own heart. It's hard. Like, because everybody that was taking advantage of those boundaries is pissed at you. They attack you. You feel bad. The people pleaser in you feels bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's an onslaught of bullshit that you have to work through, and nobody can work through it for you.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like, and if anybody is like out there struggling, being like, I'm always gonna be an anxious attachment style, I'm always gonna be disorganized, I'm always gonna be this, like, I'm gonna tell you, like, that's not true, because if you're wanting to get to a different attachment style, like, let's say romantically, look at the other relationships in your life. Because I'm usually avoidant, but with my friends, I'm loyal as they come. I have clear boundaries with my friends, and I communicate, or I try to communicate everything. Like, I don't feel anxious when they go see other people. I want them to have their own life and please have hobbies that are different than me so we can talk about our different hobbies. Like, stuff like that. I'm becoming more and more of a secure parent in my life, and because of my putting boundaries on other people and doing these things, it makes it easier to even have the notion of having a secure attachment romantically eventually. I may not be exactly there yet, but it doesn't seem like a foreign concept as much anymore. And it doesn't piss me off like it used to, even thinking about it.
Romantic relationship doesn't piss me off. Wishy-washy energy pisses me off. Not knowing where you stand pisses me off. But I also have compassion that other people aren't on the same journey as me, and it took me a long fucking time to get here too. So I can't really complain about other people taking their sweet time on their own journey that's not mine. I can complain when they jerk me around in the process, but I also can have compassion for and understanding that they have their own journey, and sometimes that means hurting people along the way in order to learn certain lessons. And if I'm a catalyst in your journey, I hope it's for the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having said that, before we close or say anything else, I want to take a minute and have silence, just some silence for Charlie Kirk and his family. I don't share his political views. I don't share pretty much any of his views, actually. I agree with the lady on Facebook today that I reposted her post that she said, I think he was a disgusting human being. And I also think he had a right to live and a right to those disgusting opinions. So I don't care the reason what happened was wrong. It was human life. And so I want to just give a pause and silence to that. And then I want to say, if you think it's okay to take a human life because their opinion is different than you, then the only person that you should be looking at and telling that doesn't belong on this planet anymore is yourself in the mirror. Because if you feel like it's okay to take a life, the only life that needs to be taken is yours. That's not okay. We have talked about the pedophiles we have no tolerance for, and that doesn't change. Outside of pedophiles hurting children, they're a human being.
Yeah.
I have zero patience and zero tolerance for taking a human life because your opinions don't align.
For me, I will say that the reporting of it and putting it across the news to where children had to be traumatized even further, and the trauma that that act itself caused for his children and his wife
Who were present.
is disgusting, and how nobody seems to, I don't care what your opinion is, but if you do not realize that those little girls don't have their dad and they are not old enough to know what the fuck politics are or why people hate their dad, just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. If for no other reason than his kids.
And now people are calling for the assassination of his wife.
No,
What?
it's disgusting. I don't care. Nobody deserves to have their father ripped away from them. They don't know. I don't like the man, but he did not deserve that.
No. And I will not stand by silently and pretend like, even though, and I am in the group of people that think that most of his views were pretty disgusting. Because if somebody hard-R'd my child and they ended up impregnated and they told me, Mom, I don't want this in me, we're making that happen. You don't get the right to take their innocence and the rest of their future.
On that note, I hope you all have a good week. If you think maybe about some of your own attachment styles, let us know. And peace be among you.
Remember,
Rage responsibly.
rage responsibly.
We're also available on Spotify. We said what we said, and we're just getting started. Thanks for listening. Now go rage responsibly. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.